Hi, I'm going to share this story about what was said the very first time I channeled. It happened by accident, and I'm going to get straight to it, and then afterwards I'll share my thoughts about what it means and also about myself a little bit. It happened on 15th of April, 2022. I'm here. I'm here to provide answers. On the leap years, we find a new path to a shortcut, the Trinity knot. Glimpse around the corner of outcome. How do I use the shortcut? That is the shortcut when given a new key. I have to choose the right string. Yes, the most value to one person brings the most reward. Every action has an equal reaction. Give them what they really need. They give you what you think you need, and you say it's a shit ton of money, so be it. Will it be easy to see the shortcut? Can I even get there through my trade? What is it that people are really starving for? Each other. You, but you can't be all, can't be for them all. You need to teach them to be for each other. The greatest gift. Please explain more. That is what I was trying to say. It's awakened in them. It's self outside self. The higher part that is happy and aware now. She's always there and holds our hand during various times and occasions. She will point out the least resistance and bless the hard roots because, although it's not for us, it's something to be respected. It's something which could bring much satisfaction for someone. Why are you so beautiful? I am you, I'm yours. Why wouldn't I be? Where are we now? The garden of outcomes. Pillars of pathways. What if I fall? As above, so below. But why? Current construct. There are no shortcuts, just different options. Will you be here for me later? If you are ready, I'm always here. Thank you. Why are you here for me? You asked. Yes, I have been. You can study the cards with ancient wisdom because the more energy is transmuted into a particular symbol, the more that variation responds. So yes, it's not always resistance trying hard, but it's not the only way. During that time, there were things that confused you due to your past physical experiences. Why do they serve this food? Is there really someone trying to bring limitation? Science leads a nation into deeper understanding of how little is understood about creation, but on a surface level, how to manipulate the tools. No, he is not against you, just thriving on a different path. It can be enjoyed with more release and freedom from any restrictions, but it almost always leads to death. It's seeking release through death, and at times sees release in life, but not usually. You wrote about this, didn't you? Go tell that story. It holds deeper than you think. Why did you give me that story? To tell it, duh, but also to help you. Help us all on that path of true purpose and true value you were asking about. Is this my shortcut? In one way. In another way, make all that you were supposed to make. And at the end of creation, ask me again. Do you mean that literally? Will you still be here? For as long as you are open. So that was something that came just randomly when I woke up. I just knew there was a message coming, so I wrote it down. I wrote it on my cell phone and I copied it on my tablet. And I'm gonna go through what I think it all means, or like my interpretation. And then I'll talk a little bit more. So at the beginning, I saw I'm here to provide answers. On the leap years, we find a new path to a shortcut, the Trinity knot. Glimpse around the corner of outcome. So for me, it sort of seems as though we can see the outcome before we get there. And as for the shortcut, I'm not sure. I just guess I was looking for a quicker way to get whatever the outcome is. So I was saying, how do I use the shortcut? I don't know what the new key is. I found this side note after recording. The things that start us off on our journey, such as Rich Dad, Poor Dad, are like keys, just like when Harry Potter is given a clue. I see this particular example was made for me because when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I started off on a new journey and I started building different businesses. And then the Harry Potter example is kind of a more global example. And then I have to choose the right string. It's like I sort of saw different strings connected to different futures. I don't know if this is like in relation to string theory, but it was like strings. The most value to one person brings the most reward. That's straightforward. Every action has an equal reaction. Straightforward. Give them what they really need. Okay. I guess I'm thinking about what do people really need in this life. And the message came that people need each other. And then this line about it's awakened in them. It's self outside self. It sounds to me like we're all on the way to waking up and getting connected to the self outside self. And as we know, we hear about this in most religions. In a spiritual sense, I would say higher self. And that's why I made my little meditation, because after this happened to me, I started meditating a bit more and trying to receive whatever I'm supposed to receive. And I've been writing like for some months now, ever since April. My friends told me, well, I shared this with my two good friends and they said, you should write a book. So I'm sharing the introduction if it so happens. Why you're so beautiful. The garden of outcomes. What if I fall? Like at this point, what if I fall? It seemed as though everything was like, they were like pillars, very long, like out into the darkness, and just some weird space that is hard for me to describe. It's almost like if you fall, you come back on top, and it's like a loop of some sort. Okay, you can study the cards with ancient wisdom because the more energy is transmuted into a particular symbol, the more that vibration responds. So that to me is like all these different cards and symbols and different things people turn towards in order to get answers. The reason why a lot of them hold true is because the more people give it a certain meaning, the more that comes about. So it's like it becomes a life of its own upon that observation. The years of observation. So during that time, there were things that confused you due to your past physical experiences. And then I asked, why do they serve this food? So I felt like, let me find out why it seems like there's some kind of duality of negative stuff going on, like people trying to serve food that's causing harm to our bodies. And what I heard here was there's a certain vibration that is trying to seek release through simply dying. And that's the fastest way to get there, by all of these negative things, which I say negative, but I know a lot of people say there's no negative or positive. It just is what it is. But, you know, negative as in the things that we don't want to experience. Science leads a nation into deeper understanding of how little is understood about creation, but on the surface level, how to manipulate the tools. I found this very interesting because it is true. The more we find out, the more there is to find out. Why did you give me that story? So, a long time ago, probably the first time I closed my eyes and I started writing, I was in college and I was writing poetry. And then I turned off all the lights. I grabbed my paper and I knew I'm going to come up with something for this class. And little did I know it was something intense. It really moved most people, and an animation came with that story, all about like diving into like the sky and landing on the opposite side of like a whole new world. And then the duality of like people in general and how to link up with the different versions of yourself. Pretty interesting story, but I ended up telling a different story for my final at college, and I made a short film of the other story, but I wanted to make a short film of this story. And in my mind, it's so fantastical. So I guess that's what's being referred to here, because clearly that story didn't come from me, but it facilitated some healing within me. Tools. Okay. In another way, make all that you were supposed to make, and at the end of creation, ask me again. So this is why I'm putting this story out here, because I know that I was supposed to share about what I'm going through. My YouTube channel is small and I don't know what it's going to be, but I know that I keep on getting inspiration. So I'm just going to keep on making until it makes more sense. And when I hear from the audience, maybe it'll lead me down the path I'm supposed to go. Maybe I'll go ahead and ask Spirit again. So that was the very first time, and it is scary. Honestly, it's kind of scary, you know, growing up in a society where this is not normal, but, you know, people in Christianity always communicating with the Holy Spirit. That's what someone said to me, that it must be the Holy Spirit. And some people are very negative about it. So, as in general, not people I spoke to, but it makes it kind of scary to share the truth about, you know, what you're hearing, you know. And I've heard of DID. It's just, it came out of the blue. So I don't know, I'm a very logical person, and I believe that I'm on a path to clearer communication with what's trying to communicate with me. And I've been writing, you know, since then. I have pages and pages, and I get these downloads, so they call it, Like I'm supposed to write a book maybe, or record 101 profound experiences from people. That's why I've been recording that on audio. And it's pretty interesting because a lot of people have profound experiences. And I also got this message, be a blessing. So I actually tattooed it on my arm because it was so clear. So there've been a lot of interesting snippets. Like at one point for 2 days, well, I only meditate like 15 minutes in the morning, but and most of the time when I do connect, it's not through meditation, it's like right at the beginning. So I got this message about a train, or the way something functions like a train, and I don't know, maybe I will put it all together. Let me know what you think, if it made sense to you, or I don't know. Bye. After this instance, I've come across a number of channelers that make a lot of sense, and some who are not channelers but similar, such as Lee Harris, Dolores Cannon, Abraham Hicks, and Jane Roberts Sethbook. It's a little better to keep my mind clear, but historically, I will delve into a particular knowledge and books once it comes to the forefront of my mind. It seems I'm picking up where I left after college. Where I left off before college. I think one more interesting thing to mention is I had a dramatic car accident on the 17th of February this year. It was surreal, but I survived without a scratch. As I saw the truck getting close, I said, I'm not ready to go. And I almost wonder if I slipped into another reality at that point in time. And I'm here with you now, but different.